Alright, welcome back to another video. Going to break down a recent PSA submission, primarily vintage. It was 14 cards. You may have seen this video recently, so let's just jump right into it. This video is going to be all about the numbers, crunching numbers, breaking it down. Going to be transparent as much as possible. And let's get going. First off, 1964 Willie Mays. I'll put screenshots just so you can have a visual of what these cards are. Down here, probably in the right corner, whichever direction it is on the screen at this point. Bought this card, a majority of these cards actually, I put over here on the source at this card show, local card show. Most of these were card shows, very few eBay auctions. So let's run over, before I get into the cards, on what we're all looking at. Just kind of give a overlay. We have our purchase dates, pretty self-explanatory. Pre-grades, all of this is recorded or documented on the channel, so I'm not lying. Like I did a pre-grade video prior to the blind reveal of what I thought each video or each card was going to be. So all this is documented. I'm not just like making things up or changing things on the fly. It was all incrementally set up. So if you feel like I'm kind of off with some of this, it's documented. It's on the channel. Go watch the videos if you feel like, if anyone is saying this is BS. We have our PSA grades. PSA grading cost. This is including shipping to and from. Pretty low. I think I might have shipped another order within this submission. And then raw purchase price, current graded value, profit, return on investment, pop counts, pop higher, and of course we just got in the source, and then we'll get into everything down here. All right. So yeah, as far as grading fees, is going to be pretty much, there's a couple here that don't add up into the 250 evenly. 250 divided by 14 cards doesn't add in evenly across the board, so that's why you kind of see some funny numbers, but all those added up equal 250. All right. 1964 Willie Mays, purchased it for $30. We have our total. I just left this open. I'll just go ahead and show this now. Our all in with all these cards, including grading, with raw purchasing, is $976.64. So that's all in. Me giving PSA the cards, getting them there and back. That's all my money. Now we're going to get into how much more money. Above the 976, which we're hoping, right, is where the profit comes into play. So we're hoping for a number bigger than that. So let's break it down. Enough of the introduction. Bought that car for $30 at a very local card show. The current, I'll just undo all this. The current graded value is $120. All these cards are pretty liquid. You can see with the pop counts and the higher. So they're out there. They're common. It's not too difficult to find values for these cards. They've been around for time. It's one thing about vintage. You can always get a really, really solid idea of current value compared to some other scarce cards. So we made ideally $72.14 on that card. That's a very good return on investment. Buying that car for only $30 came out of 3, which is the higher of the 2 or 3 pre-graded. Next up, we have the 1963 Willie Mays. That came out at PSA 2, so a little lower than what we pre-graded to. Pre-graded a 3. And current raw value of that is 110. So we lost money there. The raw purchase price was 150. I think that was the most expensive card on here. So paid up for that card, but other cards make up for it. There's kind of like a balance, a difference there that you try to kind of find a happy medium, more on the green side than the red side, if that makes sense. But yeah, we definitely lost money on this one. Almost $60 there. So you want your return on investments, ideally I think is the number between like 20 to 30% is not bad. Anything higher than 30%, it's amazing, I feel like. And then once you get below 20%, I mean, you're still making a profit, but you would want quantity over quality at that point, if that makes sense. Next up, our 1962 Willie Mays. This is the wooden borders. I'm not very fond of it. Kind of reminds me of 1987. Bought that card for $80 and in a 3, which we got, the higher the grade, which we normally hit. The higher of the two. If I threw out 2 different grades, we normally hit the higher one. Comes out to $150 current graded value, so we made $52 on that card. Next up, 1961 Willie Mays, $200 raw on that, so more than doubled our money on that with a return on investment of 104%. So I made 102 on that. Next up, 1960 Willie Mays. Bought that car for $60. And current graded value is 120. That graded a 2. That's one actually where we were lower on the 2 graded numbers. Next up, 1959 Willie Mays. Bought that car for $100, so a little more pricier. And current graded value is 35, so we're almost pretty much breaking even. Made $17 if you want to count that. Obviously, these are not including fees for whatever platform you're selling on. I primarily sell on eBay. As some of you may have noticed, put a little eBay 13% eBay fee section down here. We'll see after the total net profit for those that care about that. Yeah, 13% is a little higher than what it is, but I'm just keeping it at that point to just kind of be standardized across the board. All right, next up, 1957 Topps. Bought that car for $90 raw, and current graded value of that is going to be $415. Yeah, this was the biggie. These all went out at a $200 max value for each card. This was like a $15 grading cost special they had, and it was a max declared value, I think, of $199. So I felt like this card when I sent it off, because I pre-graded a 4, and I was looking at values of a 4, and I was like, this one might get upcharged. They didn't upcharge me. So yeah, that's a big return. $307 right there by putting basically $100 down. So yeah, that made the order. There's always some card that makes the order. That card definitely made the order. That was the big boy, the Grand Salami right there. All right, now we're into the Willie McCoveys. Willie McCoveys, I wasn't expecting too much. Kind of lucked out with these. There's the 1979 Willie McCovey here, and bought that for $12.50. I bought both of these, I think, maybe at the same time. Yeah, from the same dealer. So what is it? 25 bucks I bought for both of those. And it comes out $45, graded in an 8, which I was not expecting. Did not see that. I must have overlooked. Maybe I saw something that wasn't too much of a worry there, whatever the case be. But still, we're in the positive there. You want to see positives, right? I mean, you can get negatives as long as the positives are great. You know, high dollars, high values is what I'm saying. Next up, the 1970 McCovey. Again, paid $12.50 for that. Same dealer. Even in a 6, it's a $50 card. So we're making money there. This Hank Aaron we knew was not going to grade very well. 1.5 to 2.5. It ended up getting the 1.5, which is fine. That's expected. Don't get upset. I mean, you just get hopeful for higher grades. But yeah, so we're breaking even or lossing money right there. It's $60 based on this $60.50 purchase price. Got that at a local auction. I don't recall being able to check that card out prior to purchasing it. So maybe wouldn't have made the decision. It's always best to go to card shows. You can always have the card in hand and really, really examine it. It's the best way to go, hands down. All right. Fred McGriff sent this off before he entered the Hall of Fame. This is how long that order took. I think I sent this back in January or December, whenever that special was going on. And I think this order took like several months to get back. So yeah, the Hall of Fame induction ballots were processed, I suppose, while this was. So I ran onto eBay to grab this card, paid $27.33 out the door. Forgot to mention these raw purchase prices. You see something on eBay, that is with shipping and tax included. Obviously, there's no tax or shipping at all these other card shows, obviously. Auctions, depending on the auction, will have shipping or just tax, depending, or there's a buyer's premium. There's variables that go into that. But for the most part, it's what I paid out the door. Not for the most part. It is $27 for that card through eBay, and a PSA 8. It is a $40 card. So we lost money on that. You win some, you lose some, right? This card was for a PC. Paid $3.07 for this card. It's for the set registry of Will Clark. That's a $17 card, and a PSA 8. Barely lost some money there. All right, and then the Jerry Rices. We'll just burn through these real quick. Paid about $10 for each of these. This was the biggie. Was not expecting a 9 in this card, so got lucky there, making out with $60. And again, this is if I'm selling everything. Some of this stuff you keep for PC, some of it you sell, depending on how you want to play the game. That 7.5 is a $19 card. So I can't recall if I've sold any of these cards or if I kept them all for the PC. I think I had... Oh, I did sell the Hank Aaron, and I think I put the 7.5 Jerry Rice. I don't think it's sold yet, but I do remember selling the Hank Aaron. I think those are the only 2 cards that I put up. The rest was for PC. So, what is the total cost? We want to know the final numbers if you're still sticking around. So, the total of all the graded values is 1,541. So, obviously, that number is greater than that number, which equals out to a net profit of $564.36. So ideally, without any fees coming out of that, that's what I would expect to make on this order. Basically what I've gained just by sending these cards in for grading. Again, one card did make a huge difference in that number. It helped out greatly. Look at that profit. I mean, if it wasn't for this card, we're what, in near the $200 range of profit. So that's a huge difference with one card alone, and it just shows you can just really, I mean, make out. They didn't upcharge me, whatever the case be. We can show the the return on investment, which is a very good number, average right there, 54%. Again, some of these other numbers help that percentage. So yeah, if you're an eBay grader or eBay seller, you'll want to know that percentage off that, which comes out to $4.90 in pocket. Ideally, after fees and everything, is 13% off of that number. So hopefully you enjoyed this little kind of breakdown of numbers and everything. It's what I do this literally for every single order that I send in. I have this spreadsheet. I've kind of adjusted it and tweaked it as I go a little bit, but this is kind of where I'm set up with. And I used to do this for every submission. Might get back into it, just kind of depending on the order and whatnot. So thanks for joining me today. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Give it a like if you please, or dislike if you don't like seeing this type of video. Whatever the case be, take care. Have a good one.